Hi, Carrie. Welcome to today's chat. Thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you
Um,
for the invitation.
we're here to talk about the Who is in the Awareness Intensive Retreat, and maybe if you want to talk us about your experience um, at the retreat. What was your experience at the retreat? And maybe to start, what called you to the retreat? Why going into this process, and what did that mean for you?
Um, Thank you for the question. Um, I think it was a continuation of my work as a Reiki practitioner, an energy worker, and it seemed to be the next step in the process of my inner search for myself. um, Yeah, it was, yeah, it just seemed clear that that was something I had to do. I've done two Who's-ins and with a 2-year interval in between each one. And they were both very different. Um, so, yeah, it was really about me continuing my journey uh, into my being, into learning more about what makes myself tick, what things I needed to learn more about myself, um, um, how I could become more me or allow myself to be more me. Um, I think it was really a kind of an allowing uh, of myself um, to kind of come to the surface more. So yeah, yeah, I think that's what drew me to Who's In.
Mm,
I'd heard some other people talk about it also, so that kind of inspired me. I was inspired by what they had to say about their experience. So for me, it was like a no-brainer to go into the heart more
mm.
and to learn a little bit more about what that was, what it meant for me to do it.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that, yes, this coming to be more myself and being more, bring it to that's beautiful when you say, like, bring myself to the surface. Is it something that you experienced during the retreat? Is it something um that evolved during the retreat, or what was your experience around that during the retreat?
Um, it was so holistic in that there's so many aspects of uh, going in, and then it kind of like an inner seeing, um, but it also wasn't just going in, but it was going out as well. Uh, and other people are involved there, so you're having intimate conversations in a structured way with another human being. So it's allowing a relationship to take place in a structured way that can bring connection and and um, and learning through that connection a deeper understanding of myself, and through the listening, the process of listening, and the process of deep listening, it brings um, it brings kind of a pause and it brings us to a place where we don't we don't usually relate in that way in life, in our daily activities of going to the store to buy food, or going shopping, or taking a walk, and or talking with our people in our lives. So it brings us to another level of connection, and um, that level of connection is a luxury. It's kind of like, I felt that it was such a luxury to be in that held place where I could listen deeply and also express um, what I was feeling. And it was interesting in the connection with the other person, the how there's a reflection happening of what that person is saying, and what I'm feeling, and then what I'm feeling and saying it. And it's kind of like this thing that happens, which is very beautiful and inspiring. And it's you become aware of things that don't normally happen in, like, just regular life. And what it does for me, what it did for me and still does, is that I can feel now in my real life, in my daily life, I feel I can go there. I can go and get it again, and bring myself back to that place of kind of intimacy with myself, and a listening, and being able to be myself. So kind of it flows, into life from that experience. I've had that experience with in the both times that I did was in, and so it's extremely enriching. I felt enriched by it, where I can still go back. So it's just a gift that is constantly there if I go and get it. It's not something that is a passive thing. It's something that I have to be aware to go and get it again.
Definitely. And I hear this connection and this presence of listening, and you really express the deep listening. And was that something that was easy for you? Were there moments of of resistance, difficulty, or how did you navigate the process? How was that for you?
Um, the the listening for me is a natural thing. I think I'm a pretty good listener, in a good, quote unquote, whatever that means. But I think I can really connect in a listening way. I think the thing that was the hardest for me is to express it, and to go get in myself what's happening in there, who's in. I think that was more the challenge, and the practice was something that is not doesn't come easy for me, because I tend to um, be kind of someone who, since I'm a painter, I can be with myself, and easily not express myself with words of how I'm feeling, but I do it in my art and in my painting. So it's not something verbal. So the fact that I'm verbalizing what's churning around in there, and how I'm being in the moment is a new thing. It was new for me to be able to be clear about it. Whereas in my painting, it just comes out in a natural way. And I'm not, I guess I'm having a relationship with my art in one way, but it's different when it's a person in front of you. So it's kind of it's more of a challenge for me, that aspect of it.
hmm So what happened when you got to really express, if that happened for you, or um, what happened in that process of expressing yourself and in a different way than you normally do?
Um, I think the the structure of trust and safety was something that allowed me to feel vulnerable and not so worried. Um, and it was I, so that I think was part of it. Um, the I think just the trust in the process and the trust in my teacher Ramya, who is I've been working with for many years, and I have a trust for her. Of I trust that whatever happens when she's holding space, that it's going to be okay. So that also, I think the fact that I trust myself more as well over the years. So this is something that um, helped me to be able to go there and express in words more the thing that's going on inside there. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And was there a moment of like wow, of something change, or was there a shift during the process that you noticed that was probably very um was a highlight, or maybe not, maybe was subtle, but you notice a difference that navigating the process.
Um, well, the two times I did was in, I think they were both very different. And I don't think there was ever kind of like this epiphany thing. But it was these little epiphanies, these little nuances that happen, like just looking into someone's eyes and feeling everything. Like it's just kind of these little connections, and also connections with myself in doing like some of the physical exercises. Um, the whole taking a walk, the bringing coming back to the one-on-one, they all kind of had little nuances that were for me uh, enlightening, or just kind of enriching. Uh, for I think the kind of epiphany happens after, like where I look at the whole thing and I'm putting it all together and feeling it in my heart, and that's kind of the feeling of it. It's it's not, I didn't feel any kind of flash of anything. Like it was just
Mm,
subtleties that were um, so important.
yeah. So can you talk about more about that after, about like, okay, yeah, this is what I just lived, and now what happened after it? What was that putting all together like?
Mhm. Um, I guess coming back into my real life, I notice little changes in myself. Um, I notice that I could feel something, and my conditioned behavior that maybe I was doing before, or patterns that I had before, were kind of slowed and looked at. I was observing more myself in my actions and in my what I'm saying to people, or what I'm doing for myself, or what I'm living. So I think that's what happened. Like I was able to be more clear about things that maybe I needed to shift a little, or balance, or harmonize something in my life that seemed to be enriched by the experience of who's in. So it kind of, yeah, that's how it affected me after this. And I still get that. I still feel um, like I can observe better myself, not in
Yeah.
not in
Mhm.
a judgmental way, but just a way that is um, like a good mother would do. I don't explain it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is something that I've heard many times through these interviews of how after there is this distance of the thought patterns and the mind um and how the observation live happens when we're doing something that previously we might not been able to see, and now it's being observed as it's happening, and it gives us this distance, this perspective of seeing it clear. um, yeah, does that resonate? Is that what I'm understanding with what you're sharing?
Yeah, and it's also a soft way to see yourself. I found it softened the edges of my self judgment. It kind of it you become more self aware, and but at the same time in a way that's more loving, more less judgmental, more open, softer. So yeah, so that's also an aspect of the aftermath of it. Um, yeah.
Softer edges sound really nice. And
Mhm.
was there any other change that you noticed other than this distance, or like this magnifying glass that happened after?
Okay. Um, yeah, I think the attention to my breath, the
Mm.
like something that I don't know when it happened exactly during the process, but the fact that I could feel my breath help me in certain times where I'm feeling anxious. And it's almost like it happens naturally now, where I'll just catch myself taking a very deep, nourishing breath and letting it out very slow. And I realize, oh, okay, this is a new technique that I never used before, but it's working. So yeah, it just kind of came from the process. Yeah, the breath, breathing, and letting the breath flow over me and just flush out whatever is causing anxiety or um, indecision or something that is just bothering me. It just kind of brings it, whew, just flows it in and out. So
Mm-hmm.
that was another thing that happened. Um, yeah, which is kind of physical as well. So yeah, that the attention to the physical body, to the more awareness of what's how my body feels. Um, I think that also was something, a change, how I'm feeling in my body, paying attention to those things, being giving the body a chance to let me know things, not just letting the mind intellectually guide me, but also letting the body guide me as well in whatever it is, if I'm overdoing it physically, maybe hurting myself by too much exercise or something, which actually I need to do a little more these days. But it's like yeah, being aware of what my body is saying, so that was also coming from the whole process.
Yeah, yeah. I know that during the process at one point we we come to the body over and over, and almost well, it brings us here. It brings us to this moment. Yeah, that's really, really powerful. So why doing it again? So you said you mentioned that you've done it twice, and that you, yeah, why doing it again? Why say, okay, it was, I got something out first time or not, but what I'm hearing is that you did, and you say like, okay, I wanna do the process again. What was the call there?
Yeah. Um, Let me remember why. Um, I think it was, I needed a reminder. I needed a reminder. I needed the process to remind me again of what I needed to be reminded of. Um, Also, I think it's different because you're in the process of the present moment. So being in the present moment, it's so different each present moment that I knew it wasn't going to be the same. And also my body had gotten 2 years older. So, I was wondering, how is that going to be? How will I be in the structure is can be hard on the body. It depends. So, I know that I had some back issues, and so like sitting, I was thinking, well, should I try this? And then I thought, well, yeah, let's see where I could go with this.
Mm,
So, um, yeah, I guess the challenge of it was also part of why I did it the second time, to see how I will get through it, and also what new things will come up uh, regarding my body, the fact that I'm 2 years older, um, the aging thing, since I am getting up there in age. So yeah, so those all those things, like kind of. I think there's a bit of ego in there that I was
mm,
trying to see, like, can I still do this? So yeah, there was part of I have to admit that there was a bit of ego involved in it, but it's okay. So yeah, yeah. So, but I think the reminder of what was the whole process was all about was really something that I needed at the time. Um, just feeling like a boost. I needed a bit of a boost. Yeah.
yeah, it is almost. I mean, to me, and for what I'm hearing from you, it's almost like a reset, like a cleanse,
Mhm.
like, yeah, like doing a cleanse at home. Yeah, and putting things in order, and then see clear, okay, this is home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's home. It's a safe place for me to go and be, be.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's so I knew that it would be a good place to be in, at like a meditative place of um, of who's in. And I know that it's that process for me is wonderful and inspiring, and yeah. So that's
Mm. So if you had words for people that would be curious to join, or not, what would you say? What would be a few words of inspiration, let's just say?
um I think if you want to learn more about yourself, and all the potential that you have, um, maybe not all, but some that you haven't tapped into at this point, maybe it would be a good exercise to try. It's it's someone who's a seeker, who's always, who wants to learn more about themselves and put themselves in a safe place have that exploration occur, it's a great setting for that. So yeah, I totally recommend it, and maybe I'll see you there soon one day again.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Carrie. Thank you so much for everything that you shared. And
Well, thank you for
yeah,
opening the opportunity to share this great experience of who's in, and nice to see you again.
yeah, nice to see you.
See you soon.